my refrigerator freezer is like 7 foot long, and it's counter high. Yeah, it's 36 inches deep. So you can put 5 or 6 bodies in that thing. So you can store a lot.
Wait, how many are in there now?
We won't talk about that.
Okay.
Hey, I'm a self-respecting Italian. You know what I'm saying?
I gotcha. Gotcha.
We take them fishing. We don't freeze them. But anyway.
Okay, welcome to Seegers Marine. I am Ted Gurman. I am the dockmaster here at Seegers Marine. This is my coworker Rick over here.
Hey, how you doing?
Rick, I've never heard your story of how a guy from Pennsylvania got into the boating industry. How'd that happen?
Well, we had boats up there anyway, but my grandfather, he got sick. He had to go to New York. He was in the Navy. His buddy had a 65 Chris-Craft Commodore. I got down there, so when I come down, we go out on a boat there and all of that. I fell in love with boating. When I moved to...
Wait, how old were you when you went to New York City?
Oh, first time, probably 4 or 5 years old, but my grandfather was about 14 when my grandfather actually moved there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's when you started getting on the big boat?
That's when I started getting in big boats, and I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. Yep. Then I got into power boats. In the 60s. I started sailing. So now I do it all.
Okay.
Power boat sailing, and that's...
Yeah, but I mean, like, you went to New York City, you saw your grandpa's boat. What was your first boat?
My first boat was a 15-foot Venus aluminum that I got from trapping money in Pennsylvania.
Was that on a lake or like...
On the river.
Okay.
Yeah, I could put it on a creek, and the creek could go down to the river.
Like I don't know that much about Pennsylvania. Like Allegheny River or?
No, Susquehanna River is the river.
Oh, the Susquehanna.
Where we are, yeah.
Wait, the Susquehanna goes like all the way to the ocean, doesn't it?
Yeah, it goes way up there, yeah.
What do I know about boating in Pennsylvania? Come on.
Hey, what can I say?
I can tell you that the Merrimack in New Hampshire goes all the way to the ocean, but I don't know that much about... I know there's the Allegheny.
Susquehanna actually dumps into the Chesapeake.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah.
Okay, that's
good. Then the Chesapeake, of course, dumps into the ocean. Yeah.
So then, you started with a 16-foot boat, and then where'd you go from there?
Well, a 65 Chris-Craft that actually it belonged to my grandfather's buddy, but my grandfather got it when he got sick. Yeah. Okay.
So you used to drive that around like Long Island Sound?
Yes, Long Island Sound.
How old were you when you were driving a boat around Long Island Sound? 14.
Nick and my daughter, they started when I was 8.
Yeah, but there weren't that many 14-year-olds driving 65-foot boats around Long Island Sound.
Yeah, that's what they said. But,
I know. Okay. And then you got through that. How did you end up boating in Florida?
When I graduated college, I was working for a company that did plastic injection molding dyes. We had a big company down in Miami that had a lot of stuff that they wanted done. They were going to send me down there for 6 months to a year. I said, well, we're going to do that. I'm taking my boat. I had a 42 Owens Aruba at that time. So
was that a wooden Owens or a fiberglass?
No, that was wood. Plywood, actually. The Aruba was marine plywood. Yeah. So I took that down there, and we island hopped just about every weekend that we could, go over to casinos and all that. And the rest is history. I fell in love with Florida, back and forth. Now that I don't like the cold and I don't hunt that much, I'm staying here. Yeah.
All right, so what year did you truly end up moving to Florida?
For good?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2009. 2009 was the last, yeah.
But before that, you spent a lot of time here.
I was all over the place. Yeah.
Okay, everywhere down. Okay.
So how did you get into the boating industry? I know you were talking about up north, and then you were in Colorado and places like that. So how'd you get hooked into the boating industry?
I grew up actually, and my dad had this theory that it's way better to buy the house across the street from the water than the house on the water. as long as you know the people that live on the water. And that really happened. We lived in a community where we're like a quarter mile up this big hill. Got stories about riding bikes and getting skinned knees and all that stuff off of it. But we'd go down and you were at the water, and we had a canoe and a little sailboat and stuff like that. And so I kind of got around the water a lot like that. My dad had a little like tri-hull we used to go fishing on.
Nice.
My dad tried to get us to water ski behind a 6 horsepower on like a styrofoam sailboat.
Well, I think first thing we pulled the water ski behind was a 10 horse on that.
Yeah, but a 6 horse is not enough. But so we got through that, and then when I got to college, I'm sitting there and I've got a fraternity brother, and he's wearing one of those, they're LLB jackets now, but it was Land's End back in the day, and it's like the squall jacket, and it's got
right.
Just the fleece inside, just like nylon on the outside. But that was like the first real outdoorsy kind of jacket that wasn't like a full-on Parker. And it says UNH sailing team on it. I'm like, oh my God, that will get chicks. I need a jacket like that. I'm like, Ben, how do I get one of those? So I go to this like thing. We end up putting a few masts up, hooking up all the shrouds on these sailboats, putting some FJs together. Next thing you know, there's a barbecue. I got a burger in one hand, beer in the other. And I'm talking to this girl, and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, okay, sign me up. And then the first day I go out, we're sitting there. They put me with this sorority girl. She's cute. And I'm like, but I'm going to like terrify her. So they're like, do you know what you need to do? And I'm like, well, push it this way to go that way and pull it this way to go that way. And if the boat leans too much, go up to the high side. And they're like, yeah, you'll be fine. I look at her and I'm like, I've never done this before. I'm pretty sure I can handle it. But if you go to the high side and I end up in the water and you're still in the boat, that's okay. Because I don't really know what I'm doing. 4 years later, we're sailing in whatever the pond that Dartmouth College has for their sailboat racing. They had a bunch of old grizzly guys out there like, and nobody's gonna hit any boats. Or basically it's like, it doesn't matter if you're right and you're like on starboard tack and they're on port tack. If you hit somebody, they're gonna throw you out. They're like, just these old guys were just like, nobody hits a boat. So light air, nothing really going on.
What were you sailing?
Dartmouth FJs. And so, okay. So we're going along and I keep seeing this guy. He'd get a puff, I'd get a puff. He'd get a puff, I'd get a puff. We get back to the dock. He's like, oh my God, great race. You know, I couldn't even tell you who won. What school are you from? And I'm like, New Hampshire. What school are you from? Harvard. Like, oh my God, the state school in New Hampshire is like challenging me. So anyhow, that was like my college sailing experience. My coach was like, you're hooked. And then I moved out to Colorado, got hooked up with somebody sailing starboats, which is the Olympic class boat. Along the way, growing up in high school, I'd run a bunch of power boats. For a while, we considered running charters on a 23 Dusky. It was previously a bluefin charter boat, but I wasn't real thrilled, even though I was in high school, on the idea of going way offshore, because in New England, that was like 200-300 miles offshore to go out to Jeffrey's Ledge and that stuff. On a single engine outboard, it just didn't seem like that good idea.
Bulletproof. We were worried about stuff like that then.
So anyhow, but then I moved to Colorado, did that, got to go all around the country sailing starboats, J24s and all that. And then the last year I lived in Colorado, I went sailing 35 days during the ski season and skied 35 days. Before that was like 70 days I'd ski. And I'm like, you know, why don't I move to some place where you go sailing and like you can go boating year round? And then I came down here and saw the white sand beaches and was like, okay, I'm moving. Like everybody in Pensacola, how did you end up here if you weren't born here? My mom got sick and I came to take care of a sick relative. But so you live on your boat, Rick?
Oh yeah.
Really? I lived on my boat for a little while here at Island Cove, but it was only a 27-foot boat. And that 53 Irwin's got to be like, it's got to be like a condo, right? Pretty
much. You got a galley that rivals
a condo at least.
An average size house, a condo. Yeah. You've got staterooms that are king size. You know, the
a king size bed in there?
King size. Yeah.
How are you still single? No, I'm just kidding.
The master stateroom is king size. Then you've got bunks in the salon that people could sleep on if you wanted to, you know. You got a nice salon, table and all that stuff. So it's very comfortable, actually. You got plenty of air and heat. And then you got that big, huge center cockpit, You can put 10 people in that.
And from my time when I lived on my 27, what I found was the challenge that probably isn't so bad with the 53 is storage, because I think a lot of people move onto their boat and don't think about like, where am I going to put all my junk? I know you got a lot of stuff like that you keep in storage, but the 53 has enough room to keep like most of the tools you need to work on the boat on.
Yeah, to go anywhere. Well, the Irwin was designed to be a blue water cruiser, so it'll go anywhere in the world. My refrigerator freezer is like 7 foot long, and it's counter high. Yeah, it's 36 inches deep. To reach across this way, so you can put 5 or 6 bodies in that thing. So you can store a lot.
Wait, how many are in there now?
We won't talk about that.
Okay.
But anyway, hey, I'm a self-respecting Italian. You know what I'm saying?
I gotcha.
Gotcha. We take them fishing. We don't freeze them. But anyway. But no, so you got plenty of room for stores. You got nice hanging lockers, a lot of storage. You got a lot of drawer space. Then you got big closet space for your stores. Plenty of places I'm thinking, I could probably go 4 months without touching land, if I really wanted to.
And is the Irwin the first boat you lived on, or did you live on a boat up at Bridge Harbor too?
I had a 3600 Legend before that. And then before that, I had a 40-foot Albin trawler.
So wait, how long have you lived on a boat? For like 30 years?
Well, on and off, probably about 25 years. Yeah.
All right,
in between wives, I live on a boat. When I get a wife, I buy a house. Then, they always wind up with the house, right? I put 2 of them in fine houses and automobiles.
There's a reason I'm not getting rid of my boat. So anyhow, what is the craziest thing you've seen at the docks as a lift aboard?
Oh my gosh. The craziest thing. That's hard to put a finger on because there has been a few.
Give me 2 or 3.
When I was up in North Carolina in Bridgeport, running Bridgeport Marina up there, I was actually at that time the assistant dock master. Tillman was still there. He was getting a little funny, but he was still there. We had a guy, JB, he used to like to party and all of that. Tillman told me, he said, knock it off at midnight, we're good.
Yeah.
But midnight's long enough, J and B, he'd go 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning with all his guys, music's up, this, that, and the other thing. JB comes in for the weekend, his boat's over at the Sheridan. Tillman moved it over to Sheridan, got him a slip over there, he said, JB, you're out of here. Just like that. We all became friends, he'd come over and we'd all party and everything, It was good. But that was crazy.
I think one of the craziest things I ever saw over here at Island Cove when I lived over here, I'm sitting there and probably 10, 11 o'clock at night. When I was younger, I used to be up a lot later. I'm walking down the dock and we had a guy that lived aboard on the next dock over. And I hear this, and he had a cane and just, Mike was a nice guy, but, we always worried about him getting on and off his boat.
Right.
And I'm walking down the dock and I hear this, "Kasploosh!" And I'm like, holy shnikey, did Mike just fall in? And I'm sitting there and I'm looking and, it's not hard to see between B dock and A dock here. And I look and I can see the waves and I'm like, oh my God, dolphin comes up and splashes down. I'm like,
oh Lord.
Oh my God, I can't believe I got fooled like that. But it was good because this was probably 15, 20 years ago, back when everyone was still worried about like if this was Bayou Yucky or Bayou Chico. But it was like, oh my gosh, I guess it can't be that bad if we got dolphin like right up in the marina. And Chico's got its fair share of mud. We've got our fair share of mud over here.
Right.
Nobody really likes to get in that mud because it's basically dead organic material, so it doesn't smell good.
So you don't want to get on it. If you don't have a good plow anchor and a lot of chain, you're not going to stay there.
Right, yeah. But if you get it on you, it's going to stink.
So, blazes, yeah.
In fact.
But talking about funny now, a buddy of mine's Marina, Tidewater. This was up in North Carolina also. We had a guy up there, Gene.
Yeah.
We used to take bets on the weekends whether he's going to make it to his boat before he fell into the damn water.
Wait, he liked his whiskey?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, no, he loved his whiskey.
Okay. Yeah. That's why.
he loved his whiskey.
Okay.
by the half a gallon at a time. Yeah, he got.
We had one guy here.
I washed it down with beer though, so it's all right.
Okay, yeah.
Back in the day, they used to call them Boilermakers. You got a shot of whiskey and a beer, that's a Boilermaker.
Ah.
And that's before your time.
I know. You know what? In my time, they used to drop a shot of Jaeger in a beer.
Jägermeister. Yeah.
We're not going to get into Jaeger stories because when I lived in Colorado, that was like the big time for Jaeger. I was very much younger and very much single, and we used to have a lot of fun. We even had a tiki bar at the Marina I worked at, and they used to clear track 1, and they'd call it roof shots, and they'd pour the, whatever shot down, and you'd see people sitting up there waiting to drink liquor off the roof.
Well, we had a tiki lounge down on Pensacola Beach at one time. You know that?
No.
Yeah. Be somewhere in the area where the crab pot is, crab house is
they have
there
a tiki
now.
bar now.
Huh?
They have a tiki bar there.
No, it was a tiki lounge. It was actually a lounge and they had a motel room upstairs and all of that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that was back in the day. And if you remember in good standing, you belonged to the derelict club. Yeah.
Which nowadays, the derelict club just gets your red sticker on the side of your boat, right?
Yeah, right? Yeah. But no, you used to have a band down. I played the tiki lounge down there.
Did you?
A bit, yeah.
Now, what did you play in the band? Were you
I played guitar,
instruments?
bass, keyboards, drums, Yeah, I started in New York, so if you were the front man, you had to be very versatile, So it isn't that you do every instrument proficiently, but you could play songs on them and make it sound good. And, like on the drums, you'd want to do drum beat, wipe out, took a lot of learning to get it down pat. But, then you look like, you look like a champ.
Wipe out?
Huh?
Wipe out?
Yeah. Wipe out. Drum beat was another good one too, yeah.
So the college I went to was a very big Division I hockey program.
Cool.
And when they would come out on the ice, that's what they'd play, wipe out. It was
wipe out, that's nice, yeah.
Which is funny. Okay, so you had to play a little bit of everything to do that.
Yeah, if you're going to be a front man, you've got to be versatile. If you don't have versatility,
So like Dave Grohl is like the ultimate front man then?
Well, it's changed, from it started to end, I think, with Elvis coming in, when he got in.
Yeah, but
solid.
Dave Grohl can play like every instrument out there. I think.
Oh yeah,
I think he play I think he even played mandolin. I mean.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of musicians that are versatile. I messed around with the trumpet a little bit. I messed around with the violin a little bit, of fiddle, a little bit, but not good enough to play on a set.
Does Nick play an instrument?
He did, but he
what did he play?
He played guitar. He likes drums. He likes the drums better than the guitar. He had a drum set in the house, but now, on the boat, we don't really have room for a drum set.
Yeah. I learned how to, I thought, wait a minute. The 50-foot Irwin is spacious. It's got a lot of room. We got a 7-foot freezer. Where's the drum kit? No, I'm just...
Yeah, I know, right? Well, with all of that other stuff, you don't have room for a damn drum kit.
No, so when I was a kid, we got talked into an instrument and we came home with trumpets. And have you ever heard kids play trumpets badly?
I was one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I was one of them. Until you develop a lip.
There is not much more annoying sound to parents than that.
You got to develop that lip to get the next week we had
a piano in our basement. So, but no, I'm definitely not musical. So Rick, tell me, honestly, what is the longest boating trip you've made?
Oh, Jesus, that's probably, I delivered for Barger and Broward.
Yeah.
For a few years. Probably West Palm to Buffalo.
West Palm to Buffalo?
New York, yeah.
Did you have to go up and through the St. Lawrence and all that?
Of course.
Holy cow. How many days was that?
I think 16 days, something like that.
Did you stop at port or did you go 16 days straight?
No, we left out of West Palm. From West Palm, we stopped with Cape May. And then Cape May, we went back outside went up through the Sound, come out the backside of the Sound. We went into Brooklyn, Nova Scotia. Not Brooklyn, New York, Brooklyn, Nova Scotia.
I hear you.
It's a great marina up there. And back then they had some of the best seafood.
Oh, absolutely.
Annapolis had great seafood. If you had time, like on a lot of deliveries, we try to hit Annapolis. And Annapolis had great seafood there. And New York, actually, on the island, you had good seafood in those places. So, I mean, the big thing is the eateries. I mean, if you move in boats, you want good restaurants. Because guess what? The owners are paying for it, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So it's all good. But yeah, I would think probably that was a pretty sizable trip. So yeah, I would think probably that in one solid trip.
Yeah.
That's probably pretty close.
Yeah. I guess South America would be like the 15 days going down island, right?
Well, when we went to the islands, when I first retired, I met all my buddies down in Marathon. We went over to Georgetown and the Exumas.
Yeah.
We bounced back and forth to Santo Domingo. From Santo Domingo, you can take the bus all the way over to the other side over there.
Right.
And January, February, March, the whales are moving. But they have a good whale museum over there, too.
Okay.
And if you're doing that, that's a great place to go. And then when you're going down, Grenada is one of the stops you definitely want to make. There's underwater statues and everything there.
Really?
And from what I understand, they've put more statues. And then, you try to do all the islands on the way, island hop all the way down, Then go into Tobago, go into Cartagena, Costa Rica, and do that. If you're going to go to Panama, well, that's fine too. Ecuador's real good if you want to go through the canal. But the canal, you got to have you got to get in touch with a manager to go through the canal.
There's a lot of grift, and it's a lot more expensive than everybody thinks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
It's got a lot better now because you do it online.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're doing it online
now. A lot more tracking than the old school way.
But the old school way, yeah.
Hey, you want to come through my canal? You have to pay.
But I don't care if you got 8 people on your boat, right?
Right. Yeah.
You got to get their lines. You got to use their lines. And their people, they're going to put 4 people, four line handlers on your boat. You got to feed them and bury them until you get to the other side of the canal.
You're from New York. How bad is it on the Erie?
I never done the Erie, actually, too much. Yeah.
The craziest thing we had a couple that lived on their boat. It was a fisher like the one over there.
Yeah.
And they actually had come through the Erie Canal. Because a fisher you could lay the mast down on and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I always went around.
But what was crazy to me was way back when Homeland Security got ramped up, they actually made you, they had these 80-year-old people that were like the donkey tenders. Because apparently you hook up to the donkeys and they walk you down through so you don't go too fast, too slow or whatever. And they were making them go get TSA, transportation safety cards, and have to go through all these background checks. It's like these 80-year-old grandparents. And it's like, oh my God, really? Just to walk a donkey along the canal. Because last time I checked, you're gonna pick up the donkey crap and throw it at the boat as a terrorist.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, speaking about canals and all that, a lot of people are apprehensive about using the Okeechobee waterway.
Yeah.
Because you got to go through the canals. And really, if you just got a couple on the boat, if you got 2 people on the boat, you're in good shape. They throw you your lines down. They throw the lines down to you. You just hang on to the lines. You do the deal. You go through. And just listen to what they tell you. It's simple. ABC
Isn't the bigger
simple.
deal with the Okeechobee the shallowness?
Yes. When you come in from Stewart, okay, what's going to happen? You come down the waterway from Stewart. You're going to go under a bridge. And you come
wait,
around.
Time out. You come under the bridge.
In the water.
Huh? I know.
Yeah.
But does that, where are we at with Indian River Marina? Do you know what I'm talking about?
You're coming out of Stewart.
Yeah, Stewart.
You're coming into the canal.
What's the name of the last marina before you hit the yoke?
I use sailfish in Stewart. So that's who I use. And
okay.
From there, you're coming around into the waterway now.
Okay,
So you go under that bridge, you swing around. that inside corner there is very shallow. You got to give it a lot of berth.
Okay.
You want to hang all the way to that red going in.
Because I've been down to, when I had a buddy here that was shopping for boats, we went down, it's like the last marina before you get into the lake. And it is crazy because they only have about 15 slips out front, but they have a boatyard like the size of from here to across.
Well, that one has to be down near the bridge or something because as soon as I think there is one. There was a little one over there, but I go to Sailfish. I know everybody over there.
Right, yeah.
That's my stop. Everywhere I go in this country on a boat, I got my truck or however I go.
Yeah.
I got my stops where I go. At Sailfish in Stewart, that's where I stop.
Right.
Then I come under the bridge, I go around, go through the whole deal, and come back out on Fort Myers. Fort Myers is low too. So you got to watch when you come out and you're coming through the woods and everything till you get into Fort Myers proper. You got to watch what you're doing.
Well, that river shows up.
Exactly. Yeah. So then you got a public dock in Fort Myers.
Yeah.
And that's right by Joe's Crab House.
Yep. I've been
Joe's
there.
Crab Shack. So if you're docking public marina, you got about a block and a half to walk to Joe's Crab Shack.
And then it's a quick Uber over to the Edison Ford Mansions. But no, so this place, Indian River, or I'm calling it Indian River Marina, but it's like the last marina before you hit the Oak. The little one you
I
were
don't
talking
even
about?
know the name of that little marina.
So anyhow, but they have a haul out. And my buddy went down when he was looking for a 40-foot boat. This place is insane because there's so many people from like the Bahamas cruisers that come back in the spring, put their boats up for the summer, and then they're going to launch and go back out, right? What do? You put your boat on the hard, you recommission it, and go. You go back to Michigan or wherever you live during the storm season, and you come back in the fall and go. But so there's like half of the yard, and literally, like Rick, it's from here to like across the way, and like from here to the island is like the legit boatyard with like all the good boats in it, and then you get to the boatyard of Broken Dreams. There's like Morgan 41s with you see the engine sitting there and the mast sitting there, and the mast doesn't even have spreaders on it. You're like, oh my god, I mean, you walk through, it's like a boat history, like. And you're like, wait, are people paying
the boat
for these?
junkyard?
Yeah, absolutely. That to me was the most amazing thing, having come from a smaller boating kind of community where pretty much, small boats, they end up in somebody's backyard, rotting away there, and until the parents die and the kids have to go sell it, and then somebody knows somebody with like a backhoe or whatever that comes and crushes it up and gets rid of it. The little boats always like kind of fade away from the marinas. They're not there.
Ravenswood Marina is on New River in Fort Lauderdale.
What wood?
Ravenswood. So anyway, the guy that owned this place, I never seen him sober a day in his life.
Nice.
Yeah, but wait a minute. He had more common sense than most of the sober people you see walking up and down the street. He had all these finger piers and everything, right? Yeah. So, I mean, they were real wide and everything. What he did, he got a whole bunch of sheet pile. Rinker was right down the street.
Yeah.
And he'd get all of the bad loads, that came back. And I'd drive all the sheet pile in there. I ran the crane. I was going out with his daughter.
Yeah.
So I'd run the crane, put the sheet pile and all that. He increased 6 foot all the way around, every slip all the way. You know how much money that made because they sell it by the foot down there now. But the marina, the boats in the marina was all old boats, older boats that needed work. Basically, he had a whole section back there that, you come in, oh, you want to buy a boat? Yeah, I'm going to sell you a boat. You give me so much a month because they're never going to finish it.
Right.
He's just making money off of it. They play with it a while, they get tired. He sells it to somebody else. Give me so much a month. When you pay for it, I'll give you the title. But no, we had a good boat. Guy coming in with an old river boat. And we had to make about 4 ribs for it. And he didn't know how to go about it, so I helped him do that. We set it up, I made a jig, and then I cut oak in 1/8 strips, laminated.
Yeah, to
And
make
I
the
just built it up, and fit right in. Put them in. They work good. Yeah.
So wait, did you ever build a boat?
Yes.
What kind of boat?
I built the Lafitte skiff from plans, and the one that I built was a 21-footer. Okay, but then I built the 35-footer from the same plans. I just took them plans and proportionalized them. Yeah.
So that's
all the way around.
That's very much like our boat on B-Dock at Palm Harbor, right?
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Lafitte skiffs are
right.
That big, I got Carolina Flare.
Yeah.
Like that big Carolina Flare. Did yours have the straight up kind of?
Well, the Carolina Flare, that's like strikers and all of that.
But it's a big wide overhang, so it's supposed to keep you drier.
Right. Yeah.
Because I guess going out Hatteras Inlet's supposed to be.
Hatteras Inlet's a mess.
Gnarly, yeah.
That's gnarly going out there. A few of them inlets up that way is kind of bad.
For even bigger boats in Hatteras Inlet, yeah.
The ocean don't care. It's just a different size cork.
Yes, no, yes.
They don't care if you got the USS Kennedy or you got a 27-foot Catalina. It's just a different size cork. The ocean can bounce them all around.
So you built the Lafitte skiff 2 different times?
Twice, yeah. I built the 21. That was the plans that I got.
Out of wood or fiberglass?
Out of wood, marine plywood. Out of marine plywood. I coopered all the inside, and then I put a good 2-part epoxy on the outside. And as long as you kept the outside intact, you got a chip, you dash it up, it's stayed good.
Wait, Cuprinol on the inside?
Cuprinol on the inside because one side of your wood has got to breathe.
Okay.
If you let one side of your wood breathe, it won't never rot.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So Cuprinol in it is a good way to go.
So
make that happen.
After 3 to 5 years in service, you had to pull the thing and just slosh it all in there again, or?
Well, yeah, you can renew it if you need to renew it. But the main thing is, it was the exterior, keeping the outside intact where it didn't have chips in it, where water is going into the plywood.
Yeah.
As long as you keep the water out of the plywood, you're in great shape.
And you used actual marine plywood on that, right?
Yes, I did use marine plywood.
Let me ask you this. How many times have you gotten a laugh at customers with their Lowe's wood, like putting it in a boat, and you just shake your head? No. Look, you can't shake your head at me. You got to give me an actual number. No, I know you can't.
The guy's name, wait a minute, let me tell you the story. The guy's name was Dennis.
Okay.
No joke.
Yeah.
Serious. This is up in North Carolina. The first boat he bought, he got a 30-foot something.
Wait, time out. I forgot to tell you. All names used are fictional.
Fictitious.
For demonstration purposes only.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
So Knucklehead Dennis.
Yeah, he got a 30-foot something. I don't even remember what the heck it was anymore.
Yeah.
I think it was a Coronado.
Okay.
Took all the bulkheads out. And fixed it the way he would. I said, you take the bulkheads out, you ruin the whole integrity of the boat.
Yeah.
So finally, he decided, that was a bad idea. So he gets a 37 O'Day center cockpit. Nice boat.
Yeah.
He wound up doing the same damn thing with that. And that wound up going to the garbage can too. And he must have spent $1,000 in plywood making it. Yeah.
I've seen people essentially redo their whole boat with Home Depot supplies. I'm like,
oh yeah.
Look, you're using stuff that doesn't last 3 years in an apartment, and you're going to go down south and go to the islands? Good luck with that one.
Well, we just had, one of our customers over at Chico, actually, with a sailboat, it was green, and that was house paint. It's now white with marine paint on it, but it was painted with house paint. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so obviously you've said bon voyage and good luck to a fair number of customers.
Yes.
That are headed south. I don't mean bon voyage, good luck, get the heck off the dock because you owe us so much.
I did a lot of that too.
Yeah. But bon voyage, good luck, having fun heading south. What are your worst, like, have you heard horror stories about that happening? Like when they've got down there, like they wrecked their boat or done?
Too many of those, because the people they actually don't have the knowledge, and they get in a bad sea and they lose a boat in the sea. And, some people lose lives.
Yeah.
I mean, we had, just recently up by Petito Key, there was a guy died.
Really?
Yeah.
I miss that.
Yeah. I think he was kayaking or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
What,
in this case, he was kayaking.
Got run over or?
No, he was out on the water. I don't know. He got into something.
The heat or? Okay.
Yeah, they found him floating dead in the water, with a chomp on him. So something chomped on him a little bit. So I don't know. But there's...
Yeah, no, it happens. I mean,
People don't have the knowledge to get out in the sea.
Right.
And the sea can be a deadly place very easily if you
Come
don't
on,
have
you
the
love
knowledge.
you love the ASA sailing school because it teaches everybody everything they need to go cruising, right?
Right.
I mean, literally, we had some folks at, we'll just say the marina near yours, that left with a 50-foot boat to head south, and I want to say that they were more worried about growing grass in a plastic bucket, like this, like. It was like a 3-foot by 2-foot like plastic thing, and they were growing grass because they had 2 little like Shih Tzus or something like that.
Right.
So the dogs could go up there and take a dump, and they were more worried about like that than they were taking the boat out. That's the other thing. You never see people that are getting ready to go cruising that don't have a lot of sailing experience. They spend all their time like hooking up electronics and all this other stuff when they need to get out on the bay and just get out and get wet. Even the power boaters is like, look, you need to go out there and experience some rock and roll, know what you need to like tie up and stuff like that.
I know a 47-foot sailboat that we're probably both familiar with that's left 3 or 4 times and still here.
Yeah,
I've been working on a boat 1.5 years.
So the boat I was talking about with the grass, I'm not sure if they ended up in a Sailing World or a Boat US article, but they got down there and got in a bad storm, anchored on a lee shore, always a smart thing, and lost everything. And then the other one that so the other one was a fellow that just you know how you have those customers that kind of leave you with a bad taste in your mouth? Yeah.
No, I never had none of those.
Yeah. So this is one of those fellas. Gonna go charter life savings in a boat, all this other fun stuff. Thankfully, maybe recoup some of his money doing ads for the EPIRB. That saved his family's life. They were running bare poles, 40 to 60 knot winds in like a 40-foot try. Yeah. And, obviously like 12 to 16-foot seas.
At least. With that kind of wind, at least.
But for like, for that 40-foot try, that's gonna, Luckily, and they said, look, the money we spent on the EPIRB was worth every bit of it. I guess, I'm sure there's going to be boaters that are going to see this podcast. And that's what I would tell you is that, look, coastal cruising is one thing. If you're going to get out offshore, if you're going to get out of even going across the center of the Gulf, you got to have an EPIRB or a satellite radio because you never know. It's just going to happen. What was the biggest seas that have come up on you like out of nowhere?
I've probably been in 10 or 12, it's a little better. And it's not comfortable.
No way, I don't believe that, Rick.
Yeah.
You're a master mariner, man. How'd you ever get in that? No, I'm just kidding. Was it just
it's
like...
not hard.
Stuff?
Well, the thing that you got to understand in the Gulf, that these storms come up out of nowhere, okay?
Yeah.
And they can give you a bad time for a couple hours and they're gone. Depends on the size of the storm. But Getting back to boating, I think a very important aspect of people that are going to travel to the islands, that are going to make ocean passages, they need to ride with somebody that is experienced so they can get experience, learn how to pull their weather grips, because weather is what's going to give you your whole answer.
Wait, are you advocating buddy boating? Can we name that buddy boating?
No, I wouldn't call it buddy boating. They need to get on a boat with somebody.
Oh, like not even just like
Not them.
taking their boat, but
No,
going on
get
somebody
on
else's
somebody
boat.
else's boat.
Get
so
some experience
they
before
get
you
sea
go.
experience and learn how to handle a sea, know how to quarter a sea, know how to ride a sea, know how to ride against the sea. I mean, sometimes you're riding into the sea, but sometimes you got to go away from the sea. You want to come into a port.
Yeah.
You got the sea at your stern. That's a whole lot different than quartering it on your nose. You know that.
Yeah.
So it's a whole different school of thought. It's a whole different way of doing business. And if you don't have that experience, and ride with somebody that's got the experience, so you learn, you're putting yourself in a bad way. You're putting your family in a bad way. You're making something that could be very beautiful into a bad situation.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say the rookie YouTube channel to show you that is Hull Over Inlet. But if you do that on YouTube, you'll get a whole bunch more of there's places in Europe that they show this thing, and it's like 6, 8, 12-foot waves, and these people are
North
still
Atlantic is terrible. You go
Yeah.
up to Greenland, places like that, and that North Atlantic is a monstrous sea. I don't even want to be in it.
Yeah.
That's above my pay grade. Yeah.
I get it. No,
Because
honestly, like you said, stuff just blowing up in the Gulf. I was helping my buddy get his boat over down. We're going to Key West, and we just set out, and because I don't sail on always the most funded boats, I always put like a mark like 90 miles off of Tampa, so that if something happens, there's if you go from here to Key West, there's that spot where you're about 200 miles offshore,
if you go straight,
straight,
Port St. Joe straight to Key West.
Yeah.
You're about 100 and a quarter, something like that.
Let's put it this way out of VHF range. It's gonna.
Yes.
And so if you don't have an EPIRB or an inReach or some sort of modern satellite kind of thing or a sat phone, I always put that thing 90 miles off, and I tell everyone, look, you're allowed to get hurt, but no broken leg with the stuff sticking out, because we're still going to be about 24 hours away from being able to get a helicopter out here to get you off.
Oh, yeah.
But
it depends what kind of weather you got.
Yeah. So,
because that stuff don't happen in good weather. It always happens in bad
right.
weather.
Yeah. So this time we go out, and no big deal. And we're fooling around with the asymmetric spinnaker, and it's kind of going good. And then about third or fourth time it collapses, and my buddy can't steer the boat to the wind and all that. I'm like, we'll just put it back down. So we do that, and then no big deal. We're having fun. A couple of rum drinks, relax. Wake up the next day, it's kind of blowing. And we're like, okay, that's okay. But then the seas kept building, and it kept building.
Yeah.
And we were up to about 25 by midnight, which is, it was fine. It's a Catalina 34. It was no big deal. By the time we hit 1 a.m., it was up to 30. And I'd be like, okay, we don't have a third reef. Put all the sails down. We're going to just motor into it. Just chill. We had one guy that had been sleeping half the day. I'm like, just keep us bow in and we'll be okay. We need to get some sleep and we'll deal with this. We got up and we had to put the third reef in, obviously under duress. You don't want to know. There was probably some stuff. We were wearing harnesses and stuff like that, but there was definitely some maneuvers that we had to make that were
you're at sea,
a little on the sketchy side of safety. But we got the third reef in, put that in, headed for Tampa. Everything was kind of okay. I mean, it was just a front blowing up to a couple of squalls, but and this boat had absolutely crazy greatest, newest electronics. And this is 15 years ago, so it was okay compared to nowadays.
Right.
But it had like the XM satellite weather and stuff like that, which we could overlay on the radar. And I'm sitting there looking at my buddy, and it's blowing about, it was legit 40. It was like just big swells. The good news was it wasn't blowing 40 for 3 days like a hurricane. It was just 40. So we had big swells, but we didn't have breaking waves. It was just that. And
Big
so,
swells is one thing.
Yeah. So we're just motor sailing and going over and no big deal. But I look at my buddy and I go, what does purple mean on the radar? And he goes, I don't know. I'm like, well, that means we're not going.
Don't be pretty, that's for sure.
That means we're not going to that. We're going to divert. So we weren't, we were harnessed up. We were safe for the most part. We weren't in anything crazy.
You don't go out and see unless you're honest.
Right. Yeah. Without harnesses, jack lines, and for the non-boating public, what that means is basically you take a line from your bow to your stern, and it's a big, heavy piece of webbing, which is like this nylon strap. And the idea is
nylon strap or a cable.
Yeah. And you can use that's what you old guys used to use as a cable, right?
Yeah, pull that sucker real tight, and then you rig your harness where your leads don't let you off the boat.
What?
You cannot get off the side of the boat.
You mean you
gotta
have a short lead, not a long lead?
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you, because that's like the funniest thing when you really start learning how to sail offshore, and you really go offshore and you get in some weather, and you realize this is rough, and then you think about like being over the side of the boat with like a 12-foot lead on you, which is
going to drown anyway.
In flat, calm weather at night, I'm okay with a longer lead. You shouldn't do it, but I'm okay with it. But you're right, the short lead, as soon as you get in rough weather, you're like, I don't really want to be able to get outside of the lifelines and be on the outside of the boat. Or, on a sport fish, you don't want to be over that railing. And those, a lot of sport fish, the railings aren't that big if you got to go forward, and it's scary. And
and you always want two leads. One lead's always hooked.
Yeah.
Like if you got to go around something, this lead's hooked. You take one lead, put it over here. When you got that hooked, then you take this loose and put it over there.
Yeah.
But you always got one lead hooked at all times.
Well, and the nice thing is, once you get back to port, I keep that rule. If you meet a girl, you always keep one lead on her so she can get away.
Yeah. But, speaking about, you're talking about the Gulf down there. A great trip across the Gulf is like about 550 miles from Pensacola to Isle of Moher. That's a good trip.
Key West, same thing.
Key West, now a lot of people like to travel to Key West. When you get to Port St. Joe, check your weather. If you got an east wind, I don't give a dang what. No one tells you it is out there 80 miles.
It's going to blow.
It's going to blow. You're going to have a sea. If you have a sea, you come around towards Apalachicola. You aim for Air Force 9 when you get to Air Force 9 buoy. Then you aim for Outer Reef 10. You hit Outer Reef 10. From Outer Reef 10, you can go into Tarpon Springs.
How far offshore does that keep you?
Probably about 30 miles at the most. Yeah, you got to be offshore because there's no water inshore. Then you got the reefs down in the bend.
Right, and what I was going to say too that, and I have not done that hugging the coast trip. The one thing that I always remembered from when we go to the Keys, and I don't know if it's that line that I set up, is that, and certainly in Texas, you have to pay attention to unmarked platforms, right?
Oh,
our favorite
yeah.
thing. But what they don't tell you is that Florida has unmarked weather things out there that it's like, no way. And you look and you see the NOAA thing, but it's not on any charts. It's on the NDBC, but it's not on the charts. And you're like, what is that yellow thing? And you're like, wait. And literally we've come up on it at night, and it took me the next trip to realize that that's the same thing we saw that wasn't lit at night. And, which is, if you're on a moonlit night, having stuff that's not lit up is not that, if it's not stormy, if it's a nice night out, it's not that big a deal. But if you have inclement weather and you got unmarked stuff out there, that's like disaster.
I think everything should be lit at night. That's, I think all the buoys, they should be lit. It makes it a whole lot easier for mariners that they don't have to worry about spotlights trying to find buoys and this, that, the other thing.
Except for the captain and crew, right?
Yeah, right. But, the captain and crew should not be lit.
That's what I'm saying. Everything else should be lit. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we had a good day for today.
All right.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think we want to thank everybody for watching. And we hope that we get a large crowd, and people will tell their friends to give it a listen. And we'll have more interesting things in the future. We'll probably work on different topics.
Good grief. If this thing goes viral, it's going to go to Rick's head. So don't tell your friends. If you want to see more of this, please downvote us and we'll become the least popular video ever. And you know what? Somehow that will go viral with all the kids today. Anyhow, it is awesome. We want to thank anybody that was savvy enough to tune in to us and anybody that was dumb enough to listen to us talk for too long.
Amen, brother.
Here's to you guys.
Here's to you.